Hayden Grove is going to join us now of Cleveland.com, and Hayden is a way bigger dude in person than you would ever expect. And it's because he eats 6 Built Bars a day. That's what he does to stay in tip-top shape. You could use promo code LOCKDOWN15 for 15% off at Built Bar. What's up, Hayden? How you doing, bro?
What's up, guys? How we doing? Excited to make my debut.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. If you've been listening for the last 10 minutes, we've got the Browns firmly in the playoffs. That should come as no surprise to you. Tell us what you've seen so far. There was an open OTA session. I know you were there. Tell us who looked good. Tell us who was notable by their absence. Just empty your notebook. What do you got?
I mean, yeah, it's OTAs, right? So, I mean, you got to take all this with a grain of salt. But I will say that Za'Darius Smith made a huge first impression. Great energy, huge guy. Like, you talk about Built Bars, that guy stocks up on him. He's eating like 4 a day. I mean, fantastic size. I mean, he's like 6'5", 6'6". He's got great energy. I was actually surprised Juan Thornhill is bigger than I thought he was going to be. He's a big dude too. Maybe not as physically or muscular, but a taller guy. I thought the notable absence was Myles Garrett. I mean, Nick Chubb, he's down in Georgia. He's lifting weights. He's running. He's doing all his normal stuff. He's not a guy that's necessarily there for the rah-rah anyway. But I thought Myles Garrett, especially with Za'Darius Smith coming in, and especially with all the additions on the defensive line, I thought he was a notable absence. Joel Bitonio, I didn't think was that big of a deal of an absence. And also David Njoku. Why not be there? Maybe there was, again, I can't speak to these guys. I don't know what their personal situations are. But David Njoku absent was kind of a shock to me. So Myles and Njoku were kind of the shocks. Again, I'm not going to speculate on what was going on with them. Could have personal stuff, whatever. But those guys were the guys that I expected to be there that were not.
That became an issue yesterday because a lot of folks were saying, big deal. It's not a big deal. It's OTAs. But then you had notable players throughout the league, most notably T.J. Watt, saying that it is a big deal. And T.J. is his counterpart with the team that we hate the most. So to hear someone like T.J. Watt come out and say, no, this is very important that you have to be here for OTAs. I think, Jason, you took some heat yesterday because you put something out there that said you'd rather he had been there, I believe. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but whatever it was, there were folks
apparently, I don't ever read Twitter, but apparently I pissed off a lot of people because I said Myles should have been there. I mean, shocking. I pissed off a lot of people, I know.
Yeah. That's how you know you're doing your job.
Well, it's not even about, like, Myles. It's about if you're going to be a leader on this team. If you want to be a franchise pillar and you're going to be the face of the franchise and you're the leader of the defense, then set the example. Then you show up. Even if it's voluntary, you show up. It's not about Myles being ready for the season. That has nothing to do with it. Of course Myles is going to be ready for the season. It has to do with carrying yourself as the captain, as the leader, as the face. And, I said he was the quarterback of the defense. In the terms of the face of the defense, in terms of the most important player on the defense, then show up. And there's a bunch of OTAs, and maybe he's there next week. Maybe he was there last week, and we just don't. I don't want to hear the voluntary part. If they're there for a reason. Like, if you're having it for a reason.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll be there next week. I don't know. But that's the day that the media is there. Just show up.
Yeah, especially that day.
Right.
Because it's going to become a story.
Just show up.
And I know the guys will say, look, you guys write what you write, and the media talks what they want to talk. Fans even talk what they want to talk. We don't hear it. It doesn't divide a locker room.
They hear everything.
But they do hear it. And the thing of it is, like, if you're at a crossroads and you're like, do I do it or not? Do I go or not? You have to weigh the benefits.
Yeah.
And you have to look at the potential distraction that becomes.
Right.
Just go.
Right.
Show that this team is galvanized and you as the leader are all in on this particular group. Now people are wondering, wow, is he upset because they brought in other star names on the defensive line? You wouldn't think he would be. Show up and tell us that you're not.
Hayden, man, first off, it's nice to meet you. I think me and you might have met like once or twice in the beauty lot in passing. I know you good friends with Double A.
Probably.
So it's nice to meet you. One of the things you said,
as well.
For you, no big deal that Joe Bitonio wasn't there. For you, you said Nick Chubb is probably working out in Georgia somewhere. Why is it not a big deal that them two weren't there, but a bigger deal that Myles Garrett was not there?
Because I don't think either one of them pretends to be the face of the franchise. Like Jason was saying, like Jay was saying. I mean, this is the face of the franchise. This is the guy that wants to be the leader of this football team. Joel is the leader of the offensive line, no doubt. And you got Nick Chubb is one of the great players in the offense, but he's not necessarily a leader in terms of the face. So again, it really is more just the face of the franchise being there. And I think Jason's right. He could be there next week, and it's no big deal. And the funny thing is to me that he's been there all summer. He's been at voluntary, everything else. I think he lives in Cleveland, so it's not like he's not been around. It's just funny that he wasn't there yesterday. So I'm not killing him by any stretch of the imagination. It just isn't the best look. And again, Myles could be there next week, and this is all forgotten about. But yeah, you're right. It is kind of a double standard. Why isn't Joel there? Why isn't Nick there? I just think for those guys, I mean, you're kind of prototypical guys that are great, but they're not like face of the franchise type guys. They're just kind of behind the scenes doing their own thing. So you're right. It is kind of a double standard. It is kind of weird. But that was just my thought, was that, okay, Joel, Nick, I mean, those guys are going to do their job. They're going to do it great. Myles Garrett, there's kind of been some questions about his impact on the field. It's like he's making an impact, he's getting the sacks, but he's not necessarily making the big plays. So I don't know. I think Myles is definitely under a little more scrutiny than the rest, and it just kind of lends itself to more when he's not in a thing like the OTAs. And David Njoku, honestly, for me, it's not about his face being there. It's just, don't you want to work with your quarterback? I mean, you guys were just talking about the drop passes that he had last year, the one against the Saints, I believe. So be there, work with your quarterback more. I mean, I know, again, I'm not crushing them, but just my opinion that maybe those two were the guys that I would have been like, oh, well, maybe they should have been there.
I don't care about Joel, Nick, and David not being there. I don't care. Joel, I said yesterday, I think Joel is actually following J.C. Treader's lead still as the union president and one of his best friends.
Right.
Treader basically held a walkout on OTAs when he was here, and I think that's probably a lot to do with why he was forced into early retirement, and Joel's just standing by his guy. Nick's got a contract year coming up next year. Not surprised he's not there. No big deal. Njoku, I don't really care either way. The only one for me, and it was really because more of the role, it was Myles, new defensive coordinator, new scheme, new everything. Just be a leader. That's all. Just be a leader and show up.
And to follow up on that, me and McNuggets was talking about that this morning. I asked McNuggets, I said, the question that I will pose is, well, what does leadership look like to you? Because I think Nick Chubb is a leader, but he's not a vocal guy. And a guy like Myles Garrett, he comes out and he verbally says, I'm one of the leaders of this team. And, I need to get the guys revved up. And I'll just say this before we get back to Hayden. My father used to tell me all the time, the extra mile don't have much traffic on it. And sometimes going that
That's
extra –
a great line.
I love that. I've never heard it.
That's a great line.
Going that extra mile and doing the little things, the details, this is not just picking on Myles Garrett, and this is not just pulling lines from different sports movies. This is us in our everyday life. The getting up early, the staying late, the doing things that you're making little money to no money for. Just everything that you can do to go the extra mile to prepare for long-term success. And not only that, attitude is a reflection of leadership. Now, that did come from a sports movie.
Remember the Titans.
When you got all these new faces and you got all these rookies, and Myles Garrett is supposed to be him, he's supposed to be that dude, I can see how the optics might look and how it might piss off some people that he wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, again, there can only be really one face of the franchise, but in football with offense and defense, you would say DeShaun Watson is that guy on offense.
Absolutely.
And you would unequivocally say that Myles is that guy on defense. And so I need those two guys there.
Yep.
I need those two guys there because you know what? I can't ask a Bitonio or I can't ask a Njoku to be there if the main leader of one of the units isn't there.
Right.
And they can always point to, well, he's not there.
Yep.
And he's supposed to be the guy that paves the way for that extra mile.
Right.
He's the one putting the pavement down so others can travel it too. And you always hear this saying, first in, last out. Your franchise quarterbacks are almost always described that way. They're the first here, they're the last to leave. It might be, well, some people say, well, work smarter. You don't have to be there 18 hours a day, work smarter. But other people will say, your presence is necessary all that time.
Right.
Because that means that there's never a time where someone on the roster is in the building that you're not there. If you're first in and last out, no one can say, I was here and you weren't. And I would think as a leader, he would want to be able to claim that. And to Hayden's point, it's a good one. He'll probably be there for everything else. But when the media was allowed behind the curtain and he wasn't there, he had to know that was going to be written about. If he didn't, I'd say he was probably being a little naive. So.
Yeah, and it's one thing to be written about, but again, it's less about us. We don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Like Myles doesn't care. It's more about the guys in the locker room. It's more about the guys that are actually there. Yeah, Myles could care less about what we say. The people in that building should care less about what we say. It's more completely about the guys in those locker room, like you said. So it's more about the teammates and less about us. I mean, Myles could probably care less what is written. It's just like, oh, well, even if we didn't write about it, the guys in the locker room would be like, oh, well, Myles wasn't here. Well, they care, right. But
I hope he gets pissed
a little
off
less.
what TJ Watt said.
Believe me, they care.
I want him to hear what TJ said. I'm sure that will get back to him.
What's that?
Well,
what TJ said?
What TJ said about it. I think you need to be there for OTAs.
I think we'll get into that in a little bit, right? I don't want to
I have the quote. We could get into it right now. It's Hayden. Do you guys want to see the quote?
Sure.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, Steve, pull it up. I'll read it for you guys. It is number 174 here. It's a bit long, so bear with me, but 174, we'll pull it up full. I'll read you the full quote. This is from TJ Watt, who did attend day 2 of OTAs yesterday for the Steelers. And he said, quote, "This time of year is always super important. This is why we are all here. We are just trying to get better each and every day, trying to learn from each other, trying to learn how we practice, how we do things here in Pittsburgh, also being open-minded to the guys who are veterans and have done things successfully in other places."
I don't disagree with any of that.
No, I don't disagree with any of that. I think the question came up yesterday, was he taking a shot at Myles? I don't think that at all. I don't think TJ Watt gives a damn what's going on in Cleveland.
I'm not sure TJ even knew that Myles wasn't there.
That's exactly it.
Like, how the hell is he going to know? He's in his own bubble. He's in his own world.
Cleveland pays much more attention to Pittsburgh than Pittsburgh pays to Cleveland.
That is very well said. Yeah, they don't care. They're not going to look to us to see how we're doing things.
As the standard bearer of anything.
We should be looking at Pittsburgh because they're the model of success.
Absolutely.
Even when, Bull's been trying to bury him for 2 years, saying this is when their run of 500 season ends. And even when they have a situation where they're going back and forth between a veteran quarterback and a rookie, they still somehow find a way to finish with a winning record.
Yeah. Hey, Hayden, tell me about Cedric Tillman, man. I seen some videos of him out there. It looks like he might have a bigger role on this team than we expected at the time that he was drafted. How did he look? And just talk about what the people and what the players think about him.
Well, he's a big guy, and I think the Browns need big receivers. Elijah Moore is not big whatsoever. Donovan Peoples-Jones kind of teeters on the edge of being big, but I think Cedric Tillman in 2 years, you're going to see a really, really big, athletic, explosive receiver. I still think he's probably receiver number 4, behind Moore, behind Cooper, behind DPJ. But this is a great opportunity for him with Amari on the side to kind of get more reps, get more acclimated with DeShaun Watson. So I really like what I've seen from Cedric Tillman. I think the first time we talked to him in rookie minicamp, just looking at him, I was like, this is the kind of receiver the Browns needed. Maybe not the speediest guy, but a guy that has size, a guy that has a big catch radius. I really like what I've seen from him thus far, especially, like I said, when you add a guy like Elijah Moore, who's not that at all, who's kind of that, he's actually been playing a little bit in the backfield for the Browns during OTAs. So kind of that guy that can, use the jet sweep, you can hand it off to him and kind of be the underneath guy. So I think Cedric Tillman eventually could play a role kind of like Amari Cooper, where he's the number 1 or maybe even a number 3, like a DPJ, kind of an outside target in that way.
We'll take whatever we can get from him. I mean, I like what you said. Just his catch radius is big. Yeah. And in the NFL, obviously, times when it seems like the cover guy skills are even better now than they were just even 5 years ago. The amount of separation that some of these receivers are able to get is minimal. That means it puts a premium on having a very accurate quarterback who can put it in that slim window, but also a guy that might have a little bit more extra reach here or there, either in height or with his wingspan, to get balls that otherwise would be incomplete with these smaller receivers.
Yeah. Hayden, is there a player that we have not mentioned that we need to be on the lookout for that can make an impact?
Oh man, well I think that when you look at the offense, right, you got your stalwarts, you got your Nick Chubbs, your David Njoku's, your Amari Cooper. I'm really interested in the backup running back position because Nick Chubb is a guy that's only going to get 15, 20 carries a game, if that, and you're going to need some production out of that. Last year, unfortunately, Kareem Hunt seemed to kind of take a step back. That was not what the Browns were looking for. So I'm excited to see. Is it going to be Jerome Ford? Is it going to be Henderson? Is it going to be somebody they bring in? Is it going to be even a guy like Zeke, which I don't think that's a great fit. But again, that position is going to be important. I mean, Nick Chubb has had injuries. I'm not saying he's going to get injured, but that position is going to be huge. So that's a position that I'm definitely looking at for either the Browns to improve, to add to, or maybe a guy like Jerome Ford. What can he bring to the table? What can he bring to this offense?
Skilled guy. He looked great last year in preseason. I'm excited to get an opportunity to look at him more in the regular season with some regular reps. He obviously didn't get that regular work last year. What about the big lineman from Ohio State? The word on him has been big and big.
Yeah.
But outside of that, we haven't heard any real glowing reports of how he's fit in so far. What was your assessment?
Yeah, so actually during minicamp, he had when we were able to see him in practice, he had a rough day. He was, visibly frustrated with himself, and Bill Callahan was kind of coaching him through it. So there are growing pains there. There are things that he's going to have to learn. He's going to have to continue to grow. But the other day, I think he got second-team reps in practice. He was at right tackle, so maybe they're not looking to put him at left tackle yet. Want to start him at right tackle. He's going to cross-train between both. And you're right. I mean, he is. He's just a giant. He is. When I was covering games at Ohio State throughout the last couple of years, I mean, I would just look at him. He didn't really look athletic, but he just was a massive human being. But then when you watch him move, he ended up being a pretty athletic player. So I'm really excited about him. I'm not saying that he's going to be the heir apparent to Jed Wills. I'm not going to say that he's the heir apparent to Jack Conklin, but he is going to be a project, and he is somebody that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing. I thought, just based on his potential, he was a great pick where they drafted him. Obviously, he fell because maybe some of the character things, and I'm not saying we saw them in minicamp, but there was some frustration there. He was kind of showing that visible frustration. So I think there are some growing pains that are going to happen. They're going to mold him. He's a piece of clay right now. Bill Callahan's going to get his hands on him, really make him a better player. So I'm excited to see what he can do in the next couple of years.
You brought up Bill Callahan. If Callahan can't get the most out of this kid, likely no one can.
Yeah,
because he's the guru when it comes to offensive
Yeah,
line coaching.
I think we all
McNuggets has a question for you, Hayden.
Hayden, we're going to let you out of here on this.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on. The last question today is brought to us by Calling Companies Championship, July 12th through the 16th at Firestone Country Club. There is fun, family-friendly events for everybody. Check them out at callinggolf.com. We've had you on for 15 minutes, Hayden, and no one asked how DeShaun Watson looked at the open portion of OTAs. Wow. Bad job out of us. So with that, how did number 4 look in the one time we could see him up close and personal so far this season?
Well, Jason earlier talked about pissing people off. I did the same thing. I posted a clip of DeShaun throwing a pass to Elijah Moore that hit off his hands. And I said, DeShaun missed Elijah Moore. And that was met with, it was a good throw. He dropped it. Why are you so hard on DeShaun? What's wrong with you? I was like, listen, I deleted it and I switched it.
Don't ever delete it. Don't delete it.
Yeah, don't back
I know. Unlike
Jason,
Jason,
to the mouth
I don't.
breathers.
I know.
They be on Hayden's ass, man. You got to stand tall.
They
I
do
got your back,
all
brother.
the time. Yeah,
Hey, guys,
I got your
guess
back,
what?
man.
on my.
DeShaun missed a lot more than one throw yesterday. All right?
Yeah, he missed
a lot more than one throw.
He did not look great, is what I will say. But it is OTAs. It is week 1. He missed a bunch of passes, and obviously when he made one good throw that the Browns are going to post on their page and everybody's going to be excited about, and that's great.
To find it.
But yeah, I mean he didn't
Go
look
ahead,
good.
come at me. Leave Hayden alone and come at me.
Yeah,
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Well, Hayden, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You know you're doing your job if the fans are coming after you, because for whatever reason, and I'm one of them, I'm a Browns fan, but for whatever reason, man, this is a touchy group. I mean, this is a touchy. You think with as much as we've lost, we would be, as a group, have a sharper eye and be a little harder on the players, but there's a group of Browns fans that just want nothing negative said or written about anybody on the team.
I'm dead inside.
Somebody responded to me and they were like, well, you posted a clip of DeShaun doing bad and we just want to be excited right now. I'm like, okay, like I'm not supposed to tell you the truth so you can get really excited for the start of the
Lie to them all.
So you're really excited for the start of the season, and then when DeShaun's not playing well, you're like, oh, he looked great in camp because of all the clips you posted. I was like, yeah, because I only posted the good ones. What do you like?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't get it.
You know what?
I don't
Here's
get
the
it.
thing, Hayden. You posted a clip that was representative of his day's work, right?
I wasn't editing
stellar.
a clip to make the ball drop. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you didn't edit it to make the ball drop. It's just Keep doing
No.
you, man. You do a great job. We love having you on the show, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon. Thanks,
Hey,
Hayden.
Alessia
Thanks,
said
Ed,
to
man.
say
All
hi
right.
to you, and I always do what my wife says. So hi from Alessia.
It's nice to
Hi,
finally
Alessia.
meet you. And I don't look
Yes,
like Josh
likewise.
Cribbs.
You do
No,
look like
you don't.
Josh Cribbs.
No, he does not look like Josh Cribbs.
Really? Wow. I think you do.
No, I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
Thanks, guys. I
Hayden.
appreciate it.
Thank
talk
you,
soon,
Hayden.
man.
And we have
All right,
a
guys. Have a
special
great
guest
day.
joining us now.